So welcome again. Thank you very much for coming tonight. I want to start with a prayer. So if we can just, breathe out the day. I just want to say this prayer, and I want you to look at the image, which is a little seedling that will grow into a big tree with lots of branches. So if we can just put ourselves in the presence of God and breathe in and out. As change and transition begin to happen, calm any fears or anxieties. May moms, dads, and guardians joyfully entrust their children into the hands of our loving God and St. Joseph School. Bless their family with a strong community. Give them peace, patience, and joy as they anticipate their student navigating a new school and a new community this upcoming school year. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Thank you for letting me do that. So I want to go over St. Joseph School philosophy. Oh, sorry, one more thing. If you have questions, please put it in the chat. If you have questions, please put it in the chat. So our philosophy of education, we educate the whole child in partnership with you, the parents, and your extended family. So we try to maximize our learning opportunities for the kids, regardless of where you live, your culture, your socioeconomic background. We take all of that into consideration and provide a 360 view of and reflective of our community in Pinole. I was told last week, funny, it wasn't funny, but I was actually astounded that the city of Pinole is the 6th most diverse city in the state of California. So I didn't know that either. And I'm like, okay, well, we are definitely reflective of that. This school is. So I don't want to read it to you, but I want to point out some very important things. We teach and support self-advocacy and agency, meaning we teach your children how to love learning and to want to learn and to ask questions. And to ask questions about, not only about what they're being taught, but maybe not getting the material. We always encourage kids to do their best. Not everybody can get A's. Sometimes C's are their very best. We just ask them to do their best. And we ask you to support them in that. We also teach skills that are not just about grading. We teach soft skills, how to look people in the eyes, how to communicate with people clearly, how to write clearly, how to work in groups, how to take turns, things that we have to learn in order to navigate life in general. We allow them to fail sometimes, and that's really hard as a parent. I've been a parent, and I'm a parent of adults now, and it's still hard for me to let them fail. So we have to do that because they have to find a way to move forward on their own. And we're doing them a disservice if we don't allow that to happen. But we do it in a way that we catch them and we hold them tight and help them through that process of failing and redirecting. We also make a conscious effort to listen to parents, support you as parents, and to ensure that you have the tools to be active partners in your child's education. Because parenting nowadays is really difficult. As I'm sure you know, we have the internet and all that information that's not streamed through our lives that our kids have access to. Parents as partners, we feel very strongly about this being a partnership. Our relationship needs to be a partnership because we have them anywhere from 7 to 12 hours a day, and then you have them the rest of the day and weekends. So we need to be on the same page. So if if you're seeing things at home that's a struggle, you need to let us know. If we see things that are a struggle for kids at school, we let you know. And we do this so we can help the student strive and be their best. So it's really, really important that you communicate with us and we communicate with you constantly. And our teachers and staff are really good at communicating. I have a second page. Communication, like I said, is most important in a positive way. Kids are very smart and they learn not only about what you say, but really more about what you do and how you act. And so we want to be able to always remain in trust of you and with your child. We want to support you verbally and with our actions, and we ask that you do the same with us. You know, we know that and I know as a parent that you want to believe that your child tells you 100% of the truth 100% of the time. And as the day goes on, sometimes the child forgets what happens and only remembers highlights of things that happen. And so sometimes they'll go home and say, had a great day, but so-and-so pulled so-and-so's hair or something. You'll get upset because you're like, I'm sending my child to a Catholic school and nobody should pull anybody else's hair. Well, either if you're involved, we're going to tell you, but if you're not involved, please give us the grace to investigate that situation. We will let you know if it's an issue on a broader scale to the rest of the class. We do have, kids are human and they're kids. So we do have kids teasing, I'm not going to lie, but we don't have them bullying. So pushing the limits is something kids do. And we try really hard to nip that in the bud and to teach them how to make different choices. And we ask you to partner with us to do that. The one thing I do want to leave you with is that please ask your child every day what happened at school. If they're in middle school, they might say nothing, or you might say, what's your most favorite thing that happened today? They're going to say recess or lunch. That's okay. But keep probing. Ask them if they have homework. Ask them to show you what they're working on. Ask them once a week to sit down and look at their grades. That's really important that you have that positive conversation. I talked a little bit about having that homeschool team. Again, it's really important that we're on the same page and that you do take the time to engage with your child. You know, we don't see ourselves as a place where, you know, I pay money to go to your school, so you need to take care of and fix everything. And that can't happen because it's your child and you know your child best. We're here to help you. And again, we want to make sure that your child is doing the best they can all the time. And I know that life is very busy, but we also expect parents to show their face at school and volunteer. Again, kids learn by watching their parents and watching the adults here and adults in their life. So by you serving the school, they will feel that it's easy to serve others. And it starts when the kids are really small. So again, I'm going to have you read through all that page at your own time. I'm going to keep on going. Unless you have questions, then please type it into the chat. So just briefly, our community is made up of parents and grandparents and aunties and uncles and cousins and special friends. They all have a part of raising your kid, and we welcome them as part of our community. So we really take pride on the community that we establish here. We welcome you to become part of it, and I think that you will make lifelong friends with other parents if you do, and we hope you involve yourself. So a whole child education, you know, we don't just teach them English and math. We have science and social studies. Grades TK through 5th grade have music, art, Spanish, and PE. The middle school kids, they don't have music. They have art, PE, extra Spanish, Spanish and extra Spanish, and PE. We also engage the students in cultural awareness and their understanding of that. dignity and belonging and being inclusive of everyone. It's really important that they have a voice as well. So we've engaged in a new strategy, which we are really focusing on beginning next year, which is blended learning. And blended learning is that we invite the students to have more advocacy and more agency, meaning they're more in charge of their learning, and we coach them along to do better. So instead of the teachers standing up all the time and lecturing to a kid, they are directly engaged into their learning. And so what they do in 10 minutes is going to have a bearing on what they do in the next 10 minutes. So so there's different ways that they will be learning, and we find it very effective. So we, in addition to all the other things that we do, we really spend a lot of time on their social emotional wellness, because research has shown, and we firmly believe, that if a child doesn't feel safe and happy at school, chances are they're not going to do well. It's going to be a struggle for them. And it's going to be a struggle for their classmates. So we are very lucky to have a counselor, and she also teaches classes on friendship and getting along and kindness. And we do that as well with our classroom teachers during the day. Middle school kids have homeroom, and they also in homeroom have the opportunity to do study skills and executive functioning skills. So if you're new to education, executive functioning is a fancy word for organizational skills. So I'm old, but my mom, used to take the time to have me put my underwear in my underwear drawer. Colors and socks are all in one side of the drawer. Now I hate to tell you this, but I just throw that underwear in. It's not stacked a certain way. Been there, done that. But that served a purpose because I had to organize things and take the time to know where everything was at. It's the same thing with cooking with your children at home. If you cook with your children, have them prep the food, have them get out measuring cups before they, engage with step-by-steps. They bake it or they cook it and then they eat it. They see the whole process, and that's so valuable. We take it for granted. So we try to do that because it's a lot of problem solving where they have to find solutions. Helps them organize, especially as they get older, the work they have to do, the projects that they have to do in several different classes. I want to let you know that next year, masks are not going to be a requirement. We have been wearing masks. Some of the kids, their parents choose to wear masks. We've done a study over the last couple of years, and it's really detrimental to little kids who are learning how to pronounce words. And it's detrimental to the older kids who tend to mumble because they have something across their face. So we won't be wearing masks next year. Of course, and God help us, if there is another pandemic, we will pivot and we will do what we're told to do. We do want to let you know that from the COVID years, we do have a Medify air purifier in all the classrooms in the gym, and we still turn it on. We think it's helpful with allergies now, but also cleans the air so there's not those pesky germs, running around. Right now, the government has not changed their protocol if you get COVID-19, but if they do during the summer, which I suspect they might in July, I will definitely update you with that. We do safety drills. We do fire and shelter in place drills every month. We had a shelter in place drill today. We do intruder alerts or active shooter and earthquake drills every other month. In 2 weeks, the 26th, we will be doing a full-on disaster drill for our kids and parents. So we do need to practice if a horrific thing happened and we need to vacate the building and organize pickup safely from kids. So we do practice that. We do have a backpack in every classroom that has bandages, emergency kits, emergency information. So if we have to call somebody on the emergency list, we can. We have information about allergies that your kids might have, etc. And we take those backpacks everywhere. We take them when we have to cross the street to go to church. We take them during emergency drills out of the classroom, and then we also take them on field trips. All of our staff is certified every other year for CPR and first aid, and we have a wonderful partnership with the Pinole Police Department and the Contra Costa Fire Department, which they're just across the street. Just wanted to show you some information. We have a website that is, you can see most of it if you're just browsing, but then when you become a parent, you will get a code to get into the Parent Hub. And in the Parent Hub, you're able to find our calendar. We do send out our calendar prior to the beginning of every month, but it does change. And so you're able to see that. We also want you to know that we will use a school messenger in case of an emergency only. And that way you will be notified of anything we need to get to you right away. We also use Constant Contact. You'll get emails from me about that. And we send out a weekly newsletter on Monday. And then we put the past newsletters under the Parent Hub. And by month, you can go back. When I say it's in the newsletter and you said, no, it's not. And I'll say, go look at for 3/23. You go, oh, I missed that. So we try to keep that information for you. We try to keep information at least 2 weeks at a time in the newsletter. If you want to put something in the newsletter because you're doing an activity or service thing, you need to get it to me by noon the Friday prior to the Monday publication. I didn't mention this, but we also have a family directory. So if you have a business of some kind, you can put your information and your logo in for free. And then we also put it up on our website. So if people are looking for business people to do things, it's kind of our own little Angie's List, which is now Angie, right? It's kind of our own little list. It's all free. We just want to support community and community support. We also send out messages, Class Dojo. The thing about Class Dojo is that you can text the teacher and the teacher can text you. And that's kind of an instant thing. So the little kids use it, the younger grades use it a lot. They send pictures, they send homework. Pictures meaning if they do something fun in class, they'll send pictures. So you can show all of your office workers how cool your kid is. And then the middle school use email. And the middle school usually kind of does a synopsis of the week. So you know what they're doing, so you can have conversation with your child about that. We also use Google Classroom, and this is one of the things we kept through the pandemic. So we use Google Classroom in 3rd through 8th grade. And we don't use the computer all day at all, but we do put assignments on Google Classroom. In 3rd grade, we start them often using the computer because they're going to have to start doing that to be ready for high school. So the kids learn how to do Google Docs and Google Slides and Google Sheets and presentations, and you can go in there as well and see what they're turning in and their work that they're turning in. It helps us be a good steward of the earth by not using all that paper as well. So that's really a good thing that we've kept for the benefit of the kids and the benefit of the parents and the teachers. So we talked a little bit about the website. Our code to get in right now is ROAR, because we're the Tigers. So ROAR with a capital R 2023. But Andy, correct me if I'm wrong, we're probably going to do ROAR 2024 next year. And so I'll put all that in a summer in a summer letter to you. So don't worry if you didn't get it. And then we're also going to have supply lists up there for you. We'll send out a supply list. but if you lose it, it's going to be on the website for you. So we ask you to get your children's supplies, and we advocate for them to go with you, because if they pick out their little pencils and their backpack and all that stuff, they're going to take a little more ownership in what they need for school. We supply supplies here, but some supplies you have to supply for them beginning at school and then replenish them when they run out. If you want to find out what the teachers think about their philosophy of education, you can go on the website now and go under academics and faith formation and click on the grade, and you can see the philosophy of the teachers. We will also have their syllabus on there after back to school night, because they get to work on it during the summer. And then yeah, you can see, you have to click on elementary school if your child's in elementary, middle school if your child's in middle school. We run the middle school like a team. So we do have a middle school team of teachers. The elementary are self-contained classrooms, and then they're pulled out for music and Spanish, etc. Spanish actually pushes in. Music and art, they go to the music and art room. PE, they go outside or inside if it's raining. And then, but middle school, the kids rotate amongst 3 classrooms and of the core classrooms. And so when we have a meeting with you as a parent, we meet as a team. When we meet with a child, other than I don't understand this math concept, we meet with them as a team, because we want them to know that we have their back and that we're here to help them do their best. So this is first grade. Mrs. Gray does have a person who is their instructional assistant, but she also employs Mr. Wizard and Miss Witch, who helps the kids learn to read. And at this point, I want to say that each classroom does have a full-time assistant. Middle school has a sprinkling of part-time assistants, but that's going to change next year. So we do that so kids won't slip through the cracks, and make sure that all kids get the attention and the help that they need. This is the Parent Hub. So you just click on what you need. When you pull down the Parent Hub, it will say Tiger's Tail, which is the newsletter. We also have a help desk. If you can't figure out like how to get into PowerSchool, which is our grading and attendance system, or you can't, your kid doesn't know how to do a Flipgrid, or you need to help your kid and you need to know how to do a Flipgrid, you can definitely send for help. We also offer Choice Lunch. They deliver lunch every day to the school, either hot or cold. You need to go online and order and pay for it. It's not a part of a school, it's just a service we offer. Their food is all organic, and it tastes pretty good. And they use recycled plates and forks and everything. So that helps us be a steward of the earth. This is our Padlet. So again, if we say, hey, you need to help your child with Google Classroom, you can go in and click on one of these. You can click on Google Classroom, and it's a tutorial on how you work Google Classroom. And especially in the first part of the year, if your child forgets, if they're new to the school and they haven't used it before, that will be very helpful. Like I mentioned, Flipgrid. We still have distance learning up. Gosh, we should probably take that down. Anyway, and how to access PowerSchool. And then general, how do you use a Chromebook? So we asked you to look at those things. And then if you can't figure that out, you can always send that to our tech people, or info@stjosephpanol.org. So this is what your students are going to see on their Chromebook. So the way they access their online curriculum, I do want to let you know, again, I want to stress, we do both online and written assignments. We still teach cursive. We ask children to show their work in math. We make them write essays with a pencil or a pen, but we do also make them type it. So now the curriculum that we are able to get just all over the United States, it has both the traditional book and workbook and the online versions. So your child will be doing both. Everybody gets a Chromebook at school. In middle school and 6th grade, we asked you to buy the Chromebook through us. We can bill you in different increments. And then the middle school kids get to bring their Chromebook home. This is Power School. When I sign in, that's what it looks like. But it'll look the same for you. Also, you can get Power School on the mobile app, which is great because your kid can get in the car and maybe the teacher sent you an email and you can say, hey, so you can be on it before your child comes home. And you can also use it to say, hey, I see that you have 5 A's here. That's amazing. That's always really important to give them the positive as well. And we try to do that too. Tell you the great things your kids are doing before maybe the not so great choices. So the academic reporting, you will get 3 report cards and you will get 3 progress reports. However, in 5th through 8th grade, the progress reports are online. These are a picture of the report card and progress reports from TK looks a little different through 4th grade because they're standards based. So instead of getting A, B, C, D, F, you're going to get 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4. And the object is by the end of the year that your child is at least getting a 3, meaning that they've mastered the material. 5th through 8th grade will have traditional A, B, C, D, F, hopefully ABC. There's pluses and minuses in there too. We want you to know that the way the grading is that we have formative and summative assessments. So formative assessments are to make sure that kids are getting the material and that the teachers are teaching material that kids understand. So they might give a quiz, they might do a journal writing, they might write a paragraph about something, and those are formative assessments and math problems. Formative assessments, they're necessary to get to the end goal, which is a summative assessment, kind of like a chapter test or a paper or a project. So our formative assessments are given often and many. They're worth 10% of the child's grade. Summative assessments are worth 90% of the child's grade. So if your child is missing assignments and they're summative, that's going to affect 90% of their grade. We will go over this again with each teacher at the beginning of the year. But the whole idea is that they have to do the work along the way in order to, in order to prove to us that they have learned what we want them to learn. And what we want them to learn are the standards that California has asked us to teach them. We have athletics that's also on the website. If you want to be in CYO, CYO is Catholic Youth Organization. In the beginning of the year, we have cross country. Then in the fall, we have girls volleyball and boys basketball. And then in the spring, we have girls basketball and then track and field. Now, we ask for coaches, even if you've never coached before, we train you to coach, but in exchange for coaching, we give you parent participation hours, which are mandatory at our school and actually all Catholic schools. So you can find more information there on the website. Just to let you know, the initiatives for next year is like I talked about the blended learning. We also are developing a service program. So during, it was hard to do that during COVID, right? We couldn't go anywhere or touch anything or breathe on anybody. So what I mean about a service program is that we collect food for Thanksgiving. We collect socks and coats for people who need them that are less fortunate than us. But what we really want to bring back is have the kids emotionally involved. So, you know, they go down to a soup kitchen. They clean up the coastal trail. So they really see the benefit. It's not just like, Mom, I'm supposed to bring socks in tomorrow. Can you just go buy me some socks? They don't understand the reason and where those socks go. So we're trying to make that a more robust program. And as things open up, we are hoping to do so. Even being a pen pal to the people at the senior center or that live in an assisted living facility. So there is that emotional interaction. We have a field up above the middle school, and we are working very hard to develop that into a workable, livable, and wonderful place. We want to move the middle school kids up there for recess and lunch, and we want to build an outdoor classroom, a place where they can hang, and a prayer garden. So we're in the middle of all of that. We're really excited about it, and you should hear more about that at the beginning of the year. So those are our initiatives for this year. I want to also let you know that there's other learning opportunities at school to kind of give the opportunities to educate the whole child. So we have a gardening that kids can learn from, as so many things, just getting out there and working with the plants. There's all about, of course, being good stewards of the earth, but seeing how things grow, how long it takes for things to grow, that we're not just stopping at sprouts and getting stuff for dinner. So they understand and they develop a respect for that work. We also have tutoring and academic coaching. So we have 2 resource teachers here. We are also a Title I school, so we get extra tutoring. It's available for kids who need it. The extracurricular opportunities, we have our after school club, the Tigers Times newspaper, which I run. We have a drama production that you can sign your child up for, and it's in after school. We have a robotics club after school. Boy and Girl Scouts meet here. And then we have other professionals that will come and teach our kids in the after school program, but they're not part of the after school program. So if you'd like to pay for their services, you can pay them. What's great about it is that you don't have to drive them anywhere, and the kids can take these extra classes with their friends. So we have Muse Band, and right now they're doing wind instruments and drums. We have chess and coding. We have movement and cooking, and this theme is Pizza Mania, and we partner with the Pinole Parks and Recs. And what's really great is they just come over and teach our kids. If we have kids sign up, they don't mix kids from the outside. So it's really nice. So that's what we do during the day. I'm going to talk about after school as well. Yay, I'm glad that's the next slide. So we have an extended care program. It starts at 6:30 in the morning till 7:40, and at 7:40 we let the cars in. And then we have aftercare till 6 p.m. Within the aftercare, there is a structure, and that's the structure. So they do get a snack. They get to play right after school because they were in school, and they get a small snack. They all sit down and do homework, and then they make things, do robotics, they do crafting. We have a pool table, we have a ping pong table. And so there's a lot of things the kids can do with that. And then registering, we ask that you register by paying $75. That holds your spot. You can either pay monthly or pay hourly. Some people will only use after school once in a while. Some are going to count on it most every day. So we make it, as least expensive as possible. or affordable, I want to say, because we know you're paying tuition and you count on us to keep your kids safe, do their homework, and have social time. So we will keep registration open till August 31st, and you will sign in and out with an app called ProCare. And that partners with Blackbaud, which you had to pay your registration with, and that automatically bills for those services. Again, you'll get all this again in summer letters. Blackbaud, I know that you signed up for this because you're registered. The reason why we do this is because everybody pays their bills online, and it's really easy to do. Again, you can set it up for automatic payments. I know for my Visa, I do not do that. So I have to remember to pay before I get that late fee. So we want to make sure that you can welcome Blackbaud into your series of bills that you pay every month. Miss Mendoza in the office is always here to help, but they always have a number that you can call and they will walk you through anything. They're great company. We changed to Blackbaud this year. Dropping off. So we have a little map. We ask you to, at 7:40, we open the gates and we ask you to come up Prune Street. You're going to go in between the TK room and the elementary building, and then out Plum Street. We just open the door for your child. You let them out. We make sure you they say, "I love you, Mom and Dad," and then you go and we get them over to the gym. And then likewise, the pickup is a little bit different. We go around the elementary school in between the middle school because we can fit 2 lines of cars. So if your child's in elementary school, we're going to ask you to go near the elementary school building. And if your child is in middle school, we ask you to pick them up in the middle school line. And if you have 2 kids, one in elementary and one in middle, your middle school child will go get the elementary school child and go back over to the middle school line. So I know that seems confusing right now. Once you do it once, you'll see, oh, this is great. We leave the gates open for 15 minutes. So we give you a 15-minute grace period. And then we send the kids to after school, and that's where you would need to check them out. We ask you to park, please, we have a public lot adjacent to the school on when you first walk in on Plum Street, and then also on Pear Street, you can park behind the post office and walk down our little path and come and get your child. We ask you not to double park. We ask you not to drop off your child kind of in the middle of the driveway, because people are afraid to be late, right? But we have a lot of little kids and a lot of very tall trucks, and I've seen some almost accidents that are really frightening. And so we just ask that everybody just follow the rules to keep people safe. We ask, the first bell's at 7:55, and kids are on time if they're sitting in the gym in their spot at 8 o'clock. If they're in the gym at 8 o'clock, then they're not tardy. If there's horrific weather days or traffic accident that closes the freeway, I will send out a note and forgive those tardies. But we just ask everybody to come safely and on time, because we want them here for prayer. We do prayer, Pledge of Allegiance, you learn patriotic songs, announcements, etc. We do that every day with the whole school, and that's how we start our day. I don't know if you remember What Not to Wear, that TV show. Oh, maybe people are young. Anyway, I don't know when it was on, early 2000s, maybe. It was pretty funny. Anyway, we wear a uniform here, and we wear a uniform for a couple reasons. One, we're proud to be St. Joseph community member. And 2, we want to make sure that people wear the same, so people feel equitable. You know, they feel equal. Right. So I don't even know if Jordan shoes are a thing anymore. Maybe it's a Steph Curry shoe that's $300. Some people can't afford that for their kids. So we want to make sure that we level the playing field here. And it's also much cheaper and easier for parents in the long run. So we get our uniforms, our skirts, our labeled polos and our cool Letterman sweaters and our fleece jackets. We get those at Classic Design. They will come and do a pop-up shop on July 15th. That's in your summer letter. And you can come and shop and try on things. You can order things online. They'll deliver it to the school for free. It's pretty easy. If you don't want their really thick pants that will never, the knee will never tear, and you want to go to Old Navy and get, the polos for $10, that's great. They won't have an emblem on there, but we know it's more affordable. But I do want to tell you the quality of these clothes are really good. When my kids were in Catholic school, I would buy maybe two at Old Navy and two with Classic Designs that have the emblem on. If my kids were growing fast, I'd probably go to Target or Old Navy and get the pants. These pants at Classic Design, the knees are reinforced and they're really great. The kids get a free dress monthly. It's the last Friday of the month, and then also on their birthdays. And then our student council is very active, so they come up with Crazy Hair Day. We're having Spirit Week next week, and one's Aloha Day, one's Wear Your Class Color Day, one's Super Day. They have a lot of opportunities for self-expression. However, no painted nails, no dyed hair that's not natural, so like hot pink is out, and no very short shorts or very tall boots. And there's other things too, but no worries. So this is kind of a look at the uniform. And so it's pretty simple. We added khaki pants a couple of years ago, so you can wear navy or khaki pants. And we also made the uniform gender neutral as well. We have a PTG group, parent teacher group, and they're in charge of really creating community. We have three kind of legs to the PTG. So we have the fundraising, and the parent education nights. So the fundraising helps us fill the gap between the cost of educating a child and the cost of tuition. So again, we like to educate the whole child and give them experiences. And so the PTG helps us with that. And so we require parent participation hours. We had a full-on middle school field trip today to the Exploratorium, and the parents that went got 7 hours of parent participation volunteer hours. You have to have 20 hours for the entire year. So we also have the PTG officers. We have room parents that communicate with you on, for instance, today, the 4th grade had Miners Day. Kids dressed up like miners because they were studying the Gold Rush. They got to eat Gold Rush food. So I will share with you, I had pork and beans and then a little tiny piece of apple pie, like on top of one another. It just wasn't right, you know what I'm saying? But that's what Miners did, along with beef jerky. I chose not to have that. So we needed parents to help with that. So those are fun ways to volunteer as well. We asked for committee and event chairs. So we have a father-daughter dance. We have crab feed. We hold a Halloween festival, which is a fundraiser. It doesn't cost anything. And then we also hold a breakfast with Santa and craft fair. And that is just a wonderful community organized event. And again, it doesn't cost anything unless you buy vendors stuff and food, but it's a magical thing to do. And that's really to bring the community together. First of the year barbecue, same thing. It's a fundraiser. We also have a school board, and they're there to help me move the school forward. And so they're consultative. And so, you know, we throw ideas back and forth. It is a working board, so you're not just on the board going to meetings. We ask that you roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty in whatever committee that you would like to be in. Marketing, facilities, enrollment, and we will take grandparents and parents, parishioners, teachers are on the board, and of course I'm on the board as well. Talked about volunteering, being a coach, the committee member, way you can get your hours if you're on a meeting like this. If you're on a parent education night, you receive an hour. Once a month, I do breakfast with the principal. You receive an hour for coming on. It's kind of a question and answer thing. In order to engage with the kids, though, we have to ask you to do Virtues training, which is online, and then get your fingerprints. On our back to school nights, we schedule a live scan person to come. It's free of charge, and you'll be able to get your fingerprints for free. If your parents, their kids' grandparents are going to you know, serve your hours by watching the kids at recess or lunch or going on a field trip, they would need to come too. And like I said, that's free for those 2 nights. You also need a TB test. And this is not my rule, the state of California. So we talked a little bit about the parent hours. We have a mandatory fundraising requirement, and we also have a script. And script are little gift cards that you buy through the school, and we are able to get a percentage back, which is a huge help that goes towards tuition assistance. And again, more for that. I'll give you more information about that during the summer. Office housekeeping. If you're going to volunteer, you need your TB every 4 years. You need your safe environment every 3 years. And we have that in your in Power School, so we will remind you. If your child is taking medication, can't send it with your kid, got to send it to the office. And then if they have to take medication or an inhaler, they come to the office and we administer that. And we write down the times and when we do that and what we give them. The 7th and 8th graders, they need their Tdap booster. If your child is going to be really late, please call us. If they're not going to be at school, please email the office and their teacher. If your child has COVID, you got to let me know because I got to send out a letter. And that is anonymous. I just say somebody in the 5th grade. But it's our duty to do that. The tardies, if you get 5 tardies, after 5 tardies, no. 5 tardies, we charge you $25 because we know your children don't drive themselves to school. We need to find a way to pack the lunch at night or have your child who might be older to get organized at home for you, so you're not yelling at them, where's your backpack, where's your socks, where's your shoes. We've had people come without shoes before. Just want to let you know so don't feel bad. We ask that first of all, the staff's amazing. They will give you all the time that you ask for, but we really discourage people going up to the staff when they're working traffic because they have to keep the eyes on the kids and the traffic, or when you're first dropping off at school because they have to watch their kids, or right after school because they have a job to do, which is traffic after school. So very happy to meet with you. I'm very happy to meet with you, but please understand we want to give you our full attention, as you know. So please understand that that's very important. We have a uniform bank, so if your children grow out of their uniform or you need a uniform for your child, we ask people to bring their old gently used uniforms that they wash. We fold them up and they're there for you to take. Many people take advantage of that, so that's really nice. you know, again, weekly messages on constant contact. Always read what your room parent sends you, and there's no stupid question. So we prefer that you go straight to the teacher, straight to me. Don't go to 15 other parents, because probably those parents weren't there at that situation. So we call it telephone tag. I don't know if you've played that before, but it goes like this. I have a question. I don't go to the source, which is either the teacher or the principal or the assistant, but I go to another parent. They tell another parent, they tell another parent. And by the time we come back around, the question that the first person initially asked has nothing to do with the last person. So we want to make sure that we're able to answer your questions and make you feel comfortable. But we need you to come straight to us. And remember, we're here to advocate for your child. Things you must do before the first day of the school, which is August 22nd, the live scan. We're going to ask you to register for a welcome back barbecue. You can bring your own BYOB. I'm just going to say that. We want you to sync the school calendar. We want you to sync your phone with the school calendar. So you know when the events are coming up. We ask you to purchase supplies, your uniforms, sign up for after school if you're going to use that, and complete all the forms. Get us all of your kids' forms, that the doctor, the medical report, all that stuff. By law, we have to have that before the first week of school or the first day of school, or else your child can't come. And you'll be mad because you're counting on them coming. And you're going to have to make other arrangements, and we don't like that to happen. Please put on your calendar that on Sunday, August 20th, we're going to have a new parent welcome, kind of like this, but you're going to be able to meet people in person. We'll have a little food for you to eat, and you'll be able to, meet me and the teachers that are here, and like I said, other parents. We hope that everybody is here at 8 o'clock. We ask parents if they can to stay. We give you a little breakfast. So again, you can do more socializing, especially for those parents that are sending their kids to TK or kinder and they've never sent their kids out to school before. We try to be a big support. Yay, thank you. How am I? Oh, I talked a lot longer than I'm sorry, teachers. So our mantra, or our theme for this year is creating connections, creating community, and creating a new normal. So let me tell you what's going to happen now. Actually,